My name is Stefan Schmidt. I'm professor of political science. I was asked to make a few comments about the death penalty. The United States is one of a number of countries in the world where the death penalty is used as a punishment, a final punishment for very serious crimes and for criminals. In the United States, the death penalty is either permitted and used or prohibited state by state. So some states in the United States have the death penalty, Texas, for example, and some states do not have the death penalty, Iowa, for example. So it is decided by the state legislature and the governor if they want to have the death penalty as one of the ways of punishing criminals. The argument for the death penalty is that if you impose the death penalty on very serious criminals, it will set an example for future criminals and will make them think twice before committing the same kind of crime. In other words, the argument is that it is a deterrent. A deterrent is something that prevents someone or stops someone from doing something by example. There's a lot of research that's been done which suggests that the death penalty may not really stop someone from committing a crime. Very often people do things when they are very excited, hot, angry, and spontaneously, rather than thinking about it and planning it ahead for a long time. And in those kinds of cases, the death penalty seems to not stop people from committing those crimes. In the Constitution of the United States, of the country, of the entire United States, there is a provision that that says that in the law there should not be cruel or unusual punishment when you are punishing someone for a crime. For many, many years, the death penalty was not considered to be cruel or unusual. You know, people in the beginning of the country were tried and executed. Sometimes they were hung. Sometimes they had their necks broken. Sometimes they were shot by a firing squad. In more recent times, people have been put to death with electric chairs, where they sit them in the chair and then high volt electricity is put through their body, which kills them. And then there have also been other ways, including what is called lethal injection, which means that you are injected with three different substances. One of them is a tranquilizer, one of them kills pain, and the third one kills you and stops your heart and your central nervous system. So then there was some research that showed that none of those methods really are very quick, and that in some cases very serious pain and cruelty occurs. There have been failures of the electric chair in which the electricity did not kill the person, and they suffered for many, many minutes while the electricity was going through their body. There have been cases where the injections did not work, and when the person was taken to the hospital and was well again, they talked about what a terrible pain they felt when the substances were going through their blood, and that it was like torture, very, very painful. And so there were several cases that went to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court stopped the death sentence and said that they would review this and that it might be cruel and unusual. And so for many years there were no executions because the Supreme Court had suspended them and said that they should be stopped, but not permanently. The court changed its mind after some years and said that states now were again free to have the death penalty if they felt that it was a tool for law enforcement and for justice. There's another reason why the death penalty is advocated by some, and it has to do more with revenge, that if someone commits a terrible, brutal crime, that they should, in fact, suffer and be put to death as a form of punishment, not to deter others from committing the same crime, that they deserve, in other words, to be killed. And there's stuff there are passages in the religious literature of the Judeo-Christian tradition, and perhaps some other religions as well, that say an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, which means that if you take out my eye, then as punishment to you, I should be allowed to take out your eye. If you break my tooth, I should be allowed to punish you by taking out your tooth. And so if someone murders me and kills me, then this government should be able to kill that person to bring justice to the system. Most countries in the world do not use the death penalty. The United States still does. It's very controversial. There are constant discussions about it. But for now, the death penalty is still a part of the law enforcement process and the system of justice in the United States, and it will continue to be discussed, and politically it will continue to be quite controversial. Thank you.